and welcome everyone. It's good to be back here with you all. Now I was just reflecting for a couple minutes about this group and about what we're doing here together. And my heart, just really started to light up, when I see the familiar faces each week. That we're building something together where we're opening into something together. I can remember when I was a little kid, I used to want, like a certain toy. But my parents, they weren't so big on just spoiling kids. They just, a lot of times, they just didn't get us, anything but the bare necessities. And when I became a little bit older, like 12 or, yeah, I think right around 12 years old, my older brother, he had a job and he went out and he bought a dirt bike. And I made this deal, with my parents because I just loved, his motorcycle so much. And as a kid, just ripping through the fields on a dirt bike was like a sense of great freedom. Great freedom. And my parents and I, we came up with this idea, well, if I get straight A's, then they'll buy me a motorcycle. And from that moment on, I got straight A's in every class, all the way through the end of college. And when I was 12, they didn't get it for me. When I was 13, they didn't. When I was 14, 15, they just wouldn't do it. And there was a part of me that just felt like really crushed and that this wasn't justified. It wasn't fair. Life wasn't fair. And I came just into immediate contact, with the Buddha's first teaching that life is suffering, life is dukkha. Life is inherently unsatisfactory. There's things they just don't work out. Some things, of course, some things work out perfectly, but other things just don't work out. And I started to see my egoic nature, and I saw just how much anguish it caused me, not to have. This motorcycle. Hell, as a kid, I can remember crying over a toy. It seemed like my friends always got it, but I didn't. And at some point, I just started to step back from my mind and really with my emotional nature. And I just saw how crazy it was. How crazy it was. How attached I could become to an object, to my first girlfriend, to getting my way and what I had desired. And I didn't really come to the realization that desire was bad or that it was wrong. I certainly didn't have the language to say that desire was dukkha. But I just saw that my emotional nature was just basically crazy, like literally crazy for having such a strong reaction to not getting my way, not getting my way. And in fact, I began to realize what the Buddha was saying, the unsatisfactoriness. When I was 14, I got a job at a nursing home and worked really hard. My older brother, he wanted a bigger motorcycle, and so he sold his. It was a Kawasaki KE 100, to me. He got a bigger dirt bike. And I bought it and had a lot of fun on it. I'd race through the fields and, just let my hair blow in the wind. And it felt incredible. But I just noticed that, like I would just open that throttle wide up. And it was almost like the bike just couldn't go quick enough. It just couldn't. It couldn't take me to where I wanted to go. And again, it was, it was fun for a teenage boy. It was fun, but the fun, it just, at some point, it just felt unsatisfactory. Like, it just doesn't fully do it. It kind of does it, but not fully. And that's a confusing one for our egoic nature, and even from a place of spiritual realization. It's easy to see, like when you have a broken heart and you're attached to someone and they don't want to come back and love you. They've moved on to someone, strikingly more handsome or more entertaining or whatever it is. Like, that's easy to see that, okay, I'm too attached. This is too painful. This doesn't work, or with a toy or something silly. But what's really interesting is when you get what you want and you notice, oh, I'm not fully satisfied. I'm not fully satisfied. Hell, even right now I have, I must confess, I have 2 motorcycles, and one of them I actually just bought as a process of helping me grieve my father, because he was a big motorcycle guy, and so I got a Triumph just like he did. And this thing's really fast, and there's times when I open it up, the throttle on this thing, and I can get going 100, 120, something like crazy that no one should ever do, especially not on a racetrack. And I notice the same thing. It's just not fast enough. It's not fast enough. It can't blast me, into the place that I want to be. That I want to be. And so even after, I go 120 or 130, whatever it is, when you're going that fast, it's even hard to look down and see the speedometer. You want to keep your eyes on the road so you don't die. And I do that less and less now. It's pretty rare, but this desire just doesn't lead anywhere. And so a great question for ourselves on the path is, what do you truly want? And as adults, this comes down to, in a real basic sense, of where do you spend your time? Where do you spend your time? Do you spend your time chasing things which are unsatisfactory, running away from things which are unsatisfactory, dreaming of things that are unsatisfactory? Where do you spend your time? Where do you place your attention? With the practice of meditation, we place our attention on that which is good, that which is holy, that which is divine, that which does satisfy, does satisfy. And so I have a deep bow of respect for each and every one of you for showing up each week. A deep bow of respect. I support you. I cheer you on going forward. And invite you to continue to deepen into this and discover there's something quite profound here. Right here in this moment. Right here in your heart. Something quite profound. Quite profound. And so I invite you all just to gently shut your eyes and get comfortable. Or take some deep breaths. And I encourage you just to gently smile. Smile at your commitment to the Dharma. Smile at your commitment to the realization and the embodiment of your true nature. To say yes to this moment. To say yes right here, right now. My teacher used to call this throwing some logs on the bonfire. The fire of God, the fire of truth, the fire of realization. And so I invite you all just to take some deep, full belly breaths. And allow awareness to take the backward step toward the back of the skull. And immediately notice how the nature of your consciousness grows and expands when we pull it away from the prefrontal cortex. Pull it away from the thinking. Just take the backward step toward the back of the skull there. And I imagine, or I invite you to allow awareness to look, to open up to the right and to the left, and even behind you, like you have eyes on the back of your skull looking behind you. It may feel a little disorienting to some of you. Again, I invite you just to try to pull awareness back, and settle back, and then look around to the right and to the left, and behind you. Notice how profoundly silent the space of awareness is. When awareness is up front, peering out of the forehead or the eyes, it'll have a very subtle level of stress to it. Clinginess, attachment, defendedness, guardedness, thinkingness. That's where all the mental activity lives. But if you pull awareness back, and join me in the space of silence. I invite you to take a deep breath and come home. Come home. Home is where we are deeply and profoundly nurtured, where we rest in the eternal presence of being. We begin to experience true satisfaction. And if there's any thoughts floating around, you don't need to fight with anything, but just gently pull awareness back. I invite you to include the heart and smile. Smile in this space of silence. Let go in the belly. Into this space of silence. Let your body be loved, be nurtured in this space. And can you acknowledge the space of silence is alive, it's compassionate, naturally and effortlessly embraces your human self, your struggle, your addictions, your confusion, your heartache. vision. At the fullness of yourself. The fullness of your human self. Be held, be loved, be nurtured. And invite yourself home. Like it's a very hot day. You come home, get a big glass of water. Invite all the human self, confusion, the addiction, the struggle, the parts which feel broken, lost, abandoned, isolated. Just invite it home. Come home. Feel the silence. Let go into the silence. Wake up out of the dream. Of human egoic identification. Realize you are this silence. The very fabric essence of your being. Is awake, aware, luminous silence. So yes, breathing in and breathing out. Can you allow awareness to wake up to itself? throughout the totality of your being. Seeing, feeling, acknowledging that you are this very quiet, innocent, awakening state, presence. So yes, breathing in, breathing out. Thoughts come and go, feelings come and go. Old emotions, karma, attachments, desires, addictions, all of it is welcome. Unravel, release, heal, transform. Within this profound space of silence. And sometimes when the human sense of awareness, the human ego, comes into contact with silence, with truth, it gets a little sleepy. It can get a little resistant. It's oftentimes sleepiness and meditation, very subtle form of resistance. And if that's you, I invite you just to straighten your spine. And to open your heart. Smile. And smile at your ego. Smile at the resistance. Smile at your divinity. So we're breathing in and breathing out. It's feeling, experiencing, opening. Just gently scanning the body. See if there's any hidden tension. In the feet, the calves, the shins. The knees, the thighs. Allowing there to wake up. This silent yet profound sense of rootedness in the earth. So just inviting awareness to wake up fully in the pelvis, the legs, the feet, and even below the feet into the earth. Notice how you feel more alive. And if we simply acknowledge awareness in the space of the mind, just notice the quality of rootedness, a silent rootedness. Comes alive, even a power. When you open up the feet, the legs, the pelvis, as we take a deep breath, relax, fully acknowledge awareness in the hara, second chakra, the lower belly. You may feel a ball of light deep in the belly. Like there's a sun, a star. Luminous, bright. Lighting up in the belly. Some of you, there may be great resistance in the belly. If that's the case, we acknowledge this, we smile, take some breaths, we let go. We open. The belly can be a great seat of ego. Or profound space of awareness, luminous, powerful, mountain-like. Awareness. So breathing in, breathing out, and deeply relaxing. Solar plexus, the heart chakra, breathing, feeling. Your quiet, loving radiance in the heart. I invite you to smile a little bit. The realization, I have a beautiful heart. You're feeling your heart. experiencing the goodness, the luminosity, the gentleness of your heart. Relaxing the throat, the space of the mind. Opening the entirety of your being. And inviting any place where there's tightness, tension, heartache, confusion, subtle or not so subtle resistance, the abandoned, orphaned, places within us, just to come home. Come home. And with that, I begin to hear the voice of the Divine Mother saying, come home. Come home to me. Open, let go, trust. Trust in my house, my presence. It's your house, your presence. Open, trust. So I invite you all just to bring your attention to the crown chakra. Just begin to notice the subtle descent of grace. Brilliance waking up in the crown. The space of the mind. The head. It's like you feel this cool stream of bliss just pouring over you. Nectar of the gods. When you come home, deeply relax, deeply let go, deeply trust. You realize your mother is here, wanting to shower you with grace, light, with bliss. Your job is simply to receive. Receive this wonder. Yes, breathing in, breathing out. Welcoming this flow. Light of love, bliss. To fill the silence. Embrace any old wound or pain. Welcome the orphaned aspects of our human self. Back home. So as you relax more and more deeply and fully, you may notice a stream coming down through the space of the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the belly, the pelvis, the legs, the feet, into the floor, the earth itself. Cool shower on a hot day. Can you open a little more deeply and fully? Receive this gift, this moment. Do not resort to your normal, habitual state of consciousness. Open. See that there is something new, fresh, alive, radically loving here this moment. Just deep, full belly breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. Each breath letting go more and more deeply. Coming home more and more fully. Feeling, experiencing, letting go. The grace, the light, the love. Profound sense of home. Breathing in, breathing out. Just noticing yourself deepening more fully, letting go more fully, surrendering to that which you are. So I invite each and every one of you to deeply open your heart. Allow this grace, this light, this love to shine out in all directions. whole world is looking for this sense of home. Being able to deeply relax and let go to their innate divinity. See this light waking up in you and shining out in every direction. Blessing all beings, all species, entirety of the planet, ocean, the skies, rivers, the forest. All of life. Just allowing this light to flood. Flood our being and flood the planet. And when you're ready, you can just gently open your eyes. And from this space of presence, I'm going to invite you just to see each other, to see what's here, the divinity in each and every one, the gentle goodness, the innocence. And in this moment, after you've looked at your friends in the Sangha, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to Morton. So Morton is the one who's sitting outside. He has a big blue sky behind him with the gentle clouds. Just the wind blowing his hair and blowing the leaves in the background. I discovered this fun thing when, about a decade ago, maybe more like 15 years ago. Back to that silly thing I was doing, racing around on a motorcycle. Just knowing it just couldn't go fast enough. What I was truly wanting was my mind to literally just explode open. Explode open. And one day I was I was on retreat with my teacher, and he had me run to town because, something broke, something as mundane as a toilet, and I had to go run to the store and get some parts to fix it and rush back. I was rushing back and driving in my little car, and I came over this hill. It was it wasn't really a mountain. It was just like a little hill in the mountains. And then all of a sudden, my mind just started to explode open. in an infinite manner. And I realized, oh, this is that silly thing I've been chasing on a motorcycle. This explosion of mind where there's no limit. Motorcycle can only go fast, so fast. A beautiful girlfriend or boyfriend can only satisfy so much. But what we all want is this infinite expansion. When I was looking at Morton this evening and I just saw the infinite expansion of sky, I just smiled. Smiled at this truth, that it's here always eternally. This explosive, expansive nature of consciousness. And I love the sky because for me, the sky, it's so easy just to let go into it, to get lost. The hugeness of it, the silence of it, to be held by it, to see that all beings are held by this hugeness. By this hugeness. And so anyways, so nice to be here with you all. I'd like to welcome Helena. Welcome here. So good to have you. So good to have you. Yeah, of course. So good to have you. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week. And for some of you, I think you're joining on the retreat. So I'll see you real soon. So may peace be with you all. And I invite you just to continue letting go. Let yourself come home. Come home. This truth of grace, of light, of expansion, which you are. Have a good night.